Why the fuck are coaches that played in the league sitting behind the fucking bench? That's number one. Why are they in the G League? Why are they behind the bench?
You know how hard it is to win the championship? SGA is not just scoring.
No.
He's actually dishing the ball. He's playing defense. He's doing all the things to help this team be number one. But in the midst of it, he is the guy that has the ball in his hand to go get those buckets, and he's doing it night in and night out. This is the business of basketball that we're dealing with here.
No doubt.
Right? At the end of the day, it's a bottom line to this.
Bottom line.
This is a business. And so I looked at it and I was like, what I said billionaire business. As a fan, because I'm a fan of Paige Bueckers, and obviously of all the women in the W who are going in this draft. But I say Paige because I feel like I've watched Paige grow up. Right. The one thing about social media has allowed us to be able to see the little kids that's in 7th grade that is doing their thing, and people say in years such and such, watch out for them.
Yeah.
But Paige Bueckers was one of those little kids that had that right up to say she's going to be one of the greatest women basketball players ever when she was young. That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
And so we have watched her career, high school through college, obviously now, as we sit here, being a number one pick. But her journey wasn't easy, right? We know what she dealt with in UConn.
Yep.
The injury she dealt with, the ACL injury she dealt with, having to come back and still get back to the level of greatness that we expected from a Paige Bueckers. She did it right away, not missing a beat. And so she said it last year. She said, y'all have seen the world tour, but y'all have not seen the work tour. And she don't show her work. And you can tell she works her butt off because of the results are there.
Right.
And I'm just, just as a fan today for me, like just to know that she went number one and just, we've been talking about her being a number one pick in the draft for many years. But you know how many people we think is going to be the number one pick in the draft or think they're going to be great and they never end up getting to that level, whatever it is, because of these barriers that are put in your life. And she's had many, and she's had some that's been in front of the public eye. And she still hurdled those barriers, still became a national champion, had one of the greatest careers in UConn, and still became the number one draft pick in the WNBA after everything. And so, man, just giving flowers and giving love to someone who's had the pressure of being the next Diana Taurasi since she was in 6th grade and is now at the level of the Diana Taurasi's when it comes to the journey from UConn to the WNBA. So just giving Paige Bueckers some love.
Yeah, got to give her flowers, man. It's extremely, extremely hard to be the best of the best at a young age and maintain that all the way into draft time. There's only a few people that we can really name that's been that great, and Paige Bueckers has been one of those ladies that's been on top of her game. Super. I keep on saying super for everything today.
That's your word today.
Supercharge that.
Super.
Yeah, but I'm excited to see Paige Bueckers at the next level. She's an elite point guard. Her game is going to transition very well
beautifully
in the W just because she's a pass-first point guard, but we also know she's going to go get a bucket, though. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely excited to see her. I'm excited about the Storm as well. My girl, Noe Quinn, and what they do with that team. But Paige Bueckers, man, finally to the W. And
it's a journey. When you think about the journey,
the
journey, when you watch, my first time watching her play was in Minnesota. I was living in Minnesota at the time.
Yeah, she grew up in Minnesota.
She grew up in Minnesota. I can't think of the name, the blue and white school. The point guard from UConn played there too. Kind of played with he played with Rip Hamilton. Everybody. No.
Played with Rip Hamilton
back in the day.
Kameen
out of reach. So whatever high school he went to, that's where she went. Yeah. And we was right there. So we went and watched her, and I was just like, oh, she good. But she was a freshman. And she played on an all-black team. And it was just watching her for those couple of years I was in Minnesota, and then to talk about the journey. So it's more so how hard it is to continue to climb to the top of the mountain and then fall down and then
climb back up,
and then you have another setback, and then you finally keep getting back up. And so she's ready to be the number one pick because she's shown through her journey that she can overcome everything.
You said something right there. She's ready.
She's ready.
Because a lot of number one picks are not ready to be the number one pick.
For real.
And you just said something right there. She's ready to be the number one pick.
Yeah, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally.
Yeah. This is a close your eyes and grab this pick.
Oh, yes.
You know she's
no
ready.
brainer.
Yeah, not just even talent. Like you said, everything that she's been through. But how she leads, what comes out of her mouth. She doesn't talk about Paige Bueckers. She talks about her teammates. She talks about winning. She talks about coaching. She talks about culture. She don't talk about herself.
And she talks about what the hell is going on in our world, too.
Yes, she
That's
does.
what makes me have so much more respect for her as well. She's not afraid to be in the voice. You know what I mean? A lot of people are scared. You know, it come with a lot of flock when you voice your opinion on things. And one thing she's shown us, she don't care what's going on, she's gonna speak up.
Yeah.
That's what I really respect about her the most.
Yeah, she got her ESPYs.
Yeah.
And she first thing came out of her mouth was to give credit to the black women who has built the game. She's talked about how black women don't get the love and the respect and all the things that they deserve. And that was her speech. And she just won the ESPYs. And once again, it was not about Paige Bueckers. It was about something bigger. And also, too, when I found out she had a black stepmom, I was like, okay. Oh, you got black stepbrothers, too? I'm rocking. I'm really rocking with Paige. She got that swag. And so shout out to Paige Bueckers, man. Something that came out today as well with her is, just like a lot of, some of the best players in the WNBA, they all are a part of the Unrivaled community. And, I know she had signed to do something a year before, but this year they announced that, she's going to be with Unrivaled. And, the cool thing about what Unrivaled and what they're building is Paige Bueckers is going to be great when it comes to endorsements and all the things.
Right.
But when we talk about, still the WNBA still needing to evolve, still needing to grow. When you have an announcement come out and it says that Paige Bueckers' rookie year in 4 years, her deal is going to be $348,000. In year one of Unrivaled, she's going to make $350,000. It just sounds like a problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a shorter season.
In a real shorter season.
10 weeks.
Yeah.
Versus a complete
WNBA
season. WNBA season.
And I know it's not, I know because I'm on the WNBA side, I know it's a lot of logistics and there's a lot of things that goes, involved into salaries and where all the money goes. Let me say that, where all the money goes. But, and we won't be having this conversation forever. The women's game is definitely gonna get there, but it is a conversation now. And so not to talk about the W, but to talk about Unrivaled and what they're built and what they're building for women and for their own league as well. I mean, it's just incredible that, you don't have to travel overseas in the summertime. Your family don't have to not be able to see you play, or your kids don't have to, everyone can be, if it's in Miami still, everyone could come and see you. They could be in Florida. You can make money. Everything you need is right there. Like that concept of Unrivaled is just something that I think is just incredible.
When you talk to the women and they stress the fact that they haven't had family watch them play in years across the water. So that means a lot, because when you have somebody come across the water, you got to fly international. You got to pay for those flights. You got to set up the hotels. They just bring them right to...
They don't like the food that's over there. You got to worry about the food they eat.
It's always something.
It's always something to worry about.
But when you look at that, and that makes it a lot easier for you to actually do what you do at a high level. When you have the people around you that actually love you, care about you, and able to support you. So when you turn off basketball and you turn on life, you got people right there that you want to actually be around. And so Unrivaled is helping set the stage for that. And I think that's important, because when I look at the travel of wear and tear on their bodies, going from the W to overseas and not having a break to recover, not having even a break to develop.
Facts.
So we haven't really seen how good women basketball could be because they don't get the opportunity to be able to have an off season to dedicate to their body, their time, and being able to get in the gym and create new habits and get better. We don't get to see that, because I work with them.
Yeah, great point.
So when I'm watching them, they coming in for windows, like a week here. You can't develop that. So I got to go. I just need to see you for 1 week. And we're talking about the best players in the game. And so when you see and you say, man, why the game is not moving forward, the more we pay them, the more opportunity they get the chance to have an off season, which develops better players.
And the best thing about that bubble that they created in Miami and not having to go to Europe is being able to celebrate holidays. That's one of the things you can't do when you're a European player. You looking through the phone, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the best holidays, your favorite holidays, you can't participate because you're grinding, trying to make a living for you and your family. So,
you didn't think about that.
Yeah. So,
yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
you know,
bro.
just being around family, it makes your mental health a little bit better.
Because most people not realizing the W's start here late April. They play through the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they finish around October, they get like 2 or 3 weeks and then they're gone.
Out of here.
And so you miss even Halloween. You miss Thanksgiving. You
everything.
You miss
Christmas,
New Year's Eve.
New
You miss
Year's
all the
Eve.
things. Yeah.
And so you got to build.
These moments where we're building and we create moments that turn into memories with our families.
Yep.
They haven't been able to really do that. They've had to, fly a few to them
You have to.
here and there. And so now with this league, they're able to create these moments together. And, obviously the financial part of it is great because, they got bills to pay.
Yeah,
they got mouths to feed.
Heck yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're, just like we are sitting up here, they're breadwinners in their family. They taking care of their families. And so just to be able to look at that and say a player is able to make in 1 year what a player is able to make in 4 years.
Crazy.
That's unbelievable. And so shout out to Unrivaled and the sponsors that they chose and everyone. So the money is in the pot and the money is there.
Yes.
They did an incredible job.
Yeah.
Transitioning from that, coaches in the NBA.
Lordy.
What is going on?
It's no stability, man.
Boy, it's hard being a coach.
Man.
No stability, dude. And a lot of people used to ask me, so what do you want to do after basketball? You see yourself being a coach? Hell no.
And this is why, when you saying that, people always ask why ex-players don't come back and coach in the NBA. And I think it's several, because I asked several things. Number one, because you could be fired quickly. Number two, can you really say what you need to say to get the most out of your player?
Nope.
Because a guy that's been in the league, has made an income that's allows him to say, you shut the F up and get the hell out of here. It puts him in a different seat. Most of the coaches are still working their way up to get paid.
Why the fuck are coaches that played in the league sitting behind the fucking bench? That's number one. Why are they in the G League? Why are they behind the bench? Those are motherfuckers that's been there and experienced it.
Yeah.
Why the fuck they sitting behind the bench?
Yeah.
They know more than any motherfucker with a clipboard in front of the bench. I'm sorry to say it.
Nah, I mean,
how they treat ex-players, you got to go to the G League, you got to do this. Why the fuck do I got to do that? These other coaches didn't have to do that shit. Why I got to? And it's just no stability. If I coach, it'd have to be for the Miami Heat or the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
That's the only stability
Golden
in the league.
No,
Golden State. That's the only stability in the NBA.
Yeah.
Everybody else, you're going to move your whole family and you're going to be out of there.
About a year or two. You get a year or two max.
Year 2 max. Like, that's not fun. Like, that's whack to me.
Nah.
It's whack.
And great players need great coaches.
No, 100%.
You got to be coached.
But the thing is what is even a great coach nowadays? Because we see Bud, we see him win a championship in Milwaukee. Seemed like a great coach. We see him come to Phoenix,
you
get fired in a year.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, would say he's not a great coach, right? And so, like, what even is a great coach, and especially if you don't have the time to really put your DNA and your prints on a team, on an organization. We talk about culture all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
And, people, it's funny to me that people like to talk about and laugh at it, like, oh, and shit on culture, when that's what everybody is striving for. We all are striving for culture in our home, in our household,
everywhere in your
place
life.
of work. We all striving for a certain level of culture. We got people crying about, culture, what the culture is going on around these different places. And
But
so
the 3 places,
how do you get culture?
How do you get culture?
If you get a coach there for a year, for 2 years, you don't have time to build culture. You always bringing coaches in and out.
So
you ain't got time to build culture.
Right.
At all.
That's why the 3 places you name all have culture.
Yes, exactly.
It all has accountability.
Yeah.
There.
So I think we need to get better people in these positions of power, in my opinion.
Yeah, because
bring people that's been there. These former players, these are brilliant minds. These dudes know it all. We've been playing hoop since we've been 8 years old, played at the highest level. We need more basketball people in basketball.
So why do you think they firing coach? You think it's because they feel like they're supposed to win championships?
Yeah, it's pressure. You get pressure from the fans. You get pressure from the owners. You get pressure from...
Of two people who never won championships, go ahead. Don't know what it takes to win.
And then you get pressure from the media. So what's next?
A third one that don't know what it takes to win.
Exactly. So that's why Exactly. So that's where it's coming from. And then... Now you making these stories up. Half of the shit be false.
Yeah,
a lot of the shit be clickbait. Now you got the player, the coach, the GM, the owner. Everybody is causing friction because you let some guy with a pen type up something or write up something that's not true, or sources say. Tell me who the source is.
Right.
I'm not rolling with none of that stuff until I know who the source is.
I mean, coaches.
I don't know why I'm getting hot right now.
Can't get fired. No, but that's good though
that's bullshit.
But coaches can and should be fired. But what I'm looking at is when are they getting fired right now?
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Like this don't make sense to me.
No, this is crazy. Phoenix got 4 coaches on the payroll,
a healthy payroll,
all the way back to Monty. That's when they had
was it 3 or 4? I just said 4. Is
Monty,
it 3?
It's Monty.
Who was after Monty last year?
A coach of the LA
Frank Vogel,
and now
Bud.
Monty's coaching at his son's high school right now. He chilling, feet up,
because he getting paid.
Because Detroit signed him like 86.
Yeah, because he went to Detroit and got a bag too.
Yeah, but he started the culture here in Phoenix.
Yep,
they were actually
got to the finals right with him,
and they let him go. They let him go.
Bro, I mean, just the list of the coaches getting fired. Mike Malone just got fired. And listen, we're not saying that no one should get fired. We're not in these organizations we don't know, but like, these are all coaches. If you go down a list of the coaches that gotten fired, you're going to pull off coaches who you've won championships over the last 6 years.
Yep.
4 or 5 of them done. Like, if you get coach of the year, or if you win a championship, your job is not safe.
Right.
How is that a thing? If y'all win coach of the year, or if I take my team to the playoffs over and over and over, why is my job not safe? Because you know what everybody's not doing in the NBA? Owners, y'all are not winning championships. This doesn't just happen because you got money and you want to win a championship.
Right.
You have to have patience. You have to build. You have to build culture. You have to build through community. It takes time.
You got to develop.
You got to develop, and it's not just developing players. You got to develop your entire staff.
Right.
Everybody has to have a championship mindset, and the championship mindset is the ability to be able to sacrifice.
Yep.
It's a lot of words that come to that. It's the ability to be able to understand accountability. Like it's so many things that when it comes to like what a champion mindset is before you even get to fucking training camp.
Right.
It has to start from the top to bottom. And I'm only saying this because, my involvement with the Jazz, we've talked about this. We've talked about, hey, how do we build culture starting from the owner, Ryan Smith, the governor of the team, all the way down to whoever you would look at as somebody you don't know.
Absolutely.
How do you build culture? How do you take out the hierarchy and all this stuff? Where everyone's so afraid of their jobs.
Yeah.
Afraid of losing their jobs in the NBA, right?
Everybody walking on eggshells.
Everyone's walking on eggshells. Can't nobody do their job.
But then that limits, you cannot do your job walking on eggshells.
And that's what the hierarchy is.
Yeah.
And that's what we have in our league. And so like even coming into, and me very early into this from this side, but even coming into the coaching interview side of it in Utah, when we brought Will Hardy in, it was like, this young man at 34 years old, I think he's going to be a great head coach. But he's only going to be a great head coach if Danny and Ryan has patience with him. Yeah. He's not going to be a great head coach here in Utah if we give him 2 or 3 years while we're rebuilding and rebooting
be somewhere else.
And put him somewhere else.
He's going to be J.B. Bickerstaff. That's a prime example. Somebody that was doing an amazing job in Washington first, then was it Cleveland? And now,
let's take him all the way back to the Rockets when Coach McHale stepped down.
Come on now.
He stepped in and filled that position.
Right. Give these guys an opportunity. J.B. Bickerstaff
man.
is one of the best coaches in this league, and we're seeing it right now with a young, fiery Detroit Pistons team.
Yeah,
you got to have some patience. You got to let these guys rock out, and you got to give him the talent to be successful as well.
Yeah.
I know a lot of these teams don't want to put the best talent out there because you got to pay, you got to do all this and that.
Then you're not trying to win.
Exactly.
They gave Bud 5-year deal. It was 5-year, $50 million. Mm-hmm. He did 1 year.
Come on, man.
How? I know he had Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, and then eventually Bradley Beal. I know he had names on back of a jersey, these guys who are stars in this game. 1 year, it takes way longer than that to even get to know. Forget basketball. me and you, it took us a while to get out to grow into this brotherhood.
Yeah.
We didn't grow into it in the first year.
No.
It takes a while to grow into these brotherhoods that we're developing here. And so you're going to give a coach 1 year to say, all right, go do something that the coach before you didn't do.
Right.
And that's when trying to win a championship.
In a professional
Bro, you're not winning championships in professional sports like that.
Nope.
Everybody out here tripping.
So
you know how hard it is to win a championship? Like, let's stop playing with it. And I said this, and I talked about this early when I came into Utah as a team who was very, very good when I got in there. And I got a chance to watch practice and be a part of the rooms and watch film and all these things and just analyze, fly on the wall. And then coach asked me, what do you think? And then Ryan asked me what I thought. And I said, it's a very good team. It's not a championship team. It has nothing to do with the individual players on here. They ain't been through enough together. If you're gonna win it, you're gonna put this trophy over here, you know how much you gotta go through together? Like, you gotta, like, and so I didn't see it just from the together, like, it's a togetherness that you feel, man. It's a unity. You gotta be unified. You gotta be hip to fucking hip. Like, that's why you saw me and LeBron in press conferences do his entire journey in Miami. It wasn't because I wanted to get any more shine.
Right.
I wanted LeBron to need a fucking babysitter.
Right.
No. We're gonna be hip to hip, bro.
Right.
Because for a job we have to complete, and that's to win championship. So that means that everywhere you go, besides your private spaces,
Right.
I'm going. And so if you don't have that mentality, when practice ends, this guy go over there, this guy go over there, this guy go over there, y'all not winning a championship.
no, it's gonna be tough.
It doesn't work like that. Rondo talked about it on here.
Yeah,
when they won a championship in 1 year in 2008. They were all together. They all went ball head.
Yep.
Like, you have to be together, bro.
Yeah.
And so they're not giving the coaches an opportunity to even build. I don't know if the coaches are, if they're
There's
doing
gonna be
this.
more coaches
But
too.
Organization-wise, like, who's making the decisions? Y'all gotta be a little bit more realistic on the decisions that y'all are making to bring in coaches and GMs, and forget getting to the players. Like, y'all gotta make a better decision on who y'all bringing in to lead the organization.
So that was going to be my next question. There's some really good associates and assistant ex-players that haven't had an opportunity to be a head coach, and they got multiple rings as a player.
Yeah, why is that?
And they got multiple rings.
Sam Cassell.
That's why my boy Sam. He got multiple rings as a player, and he got multiple rings as a coach.
So why Sam Cassell can't get that job, but somebody out the video room can? Why is that?
I'm always asking that question.
Man.
Because for me, it's so simple to be able to look and say, okay, he has all of the DNA he needs. And then look at the head coaches he worked for. And look at the job that he does, and then look at his relationship with the players. He has everything. He's seasoned, and he's ready.
Right.
And he never get the opportunity.
Yeah, I feel like if you can communicate with your players, you can get anything out of them.
Right.
And when I coach teams, I'm trying to relate with the fellas. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be the police officer all the time, policing everything. Sometimes I gotta hang, I gotta, know the lingo and
Right.
communicate with my guys, and that's how I'm gonna get the best out of them on the court. Sam Cassell, that rings bells. When I see Sam right now, it's the same energy it was 20 years ago. You know what I mean? He always made me feel like that big bro,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of coach I'm pretty sure that you'd be to get those guys to play for him. We see Ime doing it in Houston.
Yeah.
You don't think he don't know the lingo and how to communicate to these young dudes to turn their season around and be second or third in the West?
Yeah.
Like he knows the lingo because he relates to these guys. So we gotta get more guys in basketball that play basketball at the highest level, not the rinky-dink shit. That shit don't count. Get these dudes as I see behind the bench
and give them opportunities and give them chances. Don't, you know what I mean? Like, I hate for someone like Sam to get a job. Let's say the Washington job opens up and they say, "Oh, Sam, this is your chance," and then you get Sam a year or two. Like, you got it. It takes time. It's gonna, like, you're gonna get somebody a deal for $50 million for 5 years. Then you gotta let that person
let him coach.
see this out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the players may change, the jerseys may change, but when it comes to the coach, you need stability at that space.
No doubt.
Like, one thing you know about the Miami Heat, you knew Spo wasn't going nowhere. You know why? Because Rowdy came down and told you, he's not going anywhere. So if you got a problem, you can go. He's here.
Right.
So that's out. Now we know that's out the way.
That's done.
That's done. So he ain't going nowhere.
Let's get some love. I forgot. Chauncey Billups. He just got an extension.
He did get his extension.
He just got an extension.
Shout out to Billups.
Because of what he's done over the last, he's been there 3-4 years.
Yep.
They weren't the best team, but he's developing the talent.
And they're giving them time to
giving them
develop
time. They understand. So the GM just got an extension.
Yep.
And now Chauncey gets an extension. Why? They're patient with him, like you just mentioned. And why is it? It's Chauncey Billups.
Yeah.
Come on, all those guys watch Chauncey Billups in the Palace. Billups. They know. So it's a respect level. He speaks the language. The people around, my guy Pooh Jeter, he speaks the language.
Yeah.
He communicate with these guys. So we got to get more guys in basketball so we can see more stories like a Chauncey Billups. That just dawned on me that
he just got it like 2 days ago.
We get hot talking about some of these topics. A topic that we talked about here on this show, man, was when Luka got traded to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, obviously when that happened, we jumped right on the show and we started, giving our 2 cents. And I think everybody was shocked that it happened, right? Because of Luka being such a mega star in that game of basketball, being traded out to, taking the team to the finals. But how I looked at it is this is the business of basketball that we're dealing with here.
No doubt.
Right? At the end of the day, it's a bottom line to
bottom
this.
line.
This is a business. And so I looked at it and I was like, what I said billionaire business.
Yeah.
Billionaire
Right?
business.
We're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. And so we sit here at the end of the season, we say, well, number 1 in jersey sales, who is it?
Luka
Dončić. Team, number 1 in jersey sales, who is it? Los Angeles Lakers. And so when we talk about even building a face, everyone's talking about who's the face? Well, I know who the international face is.
Sure.
His name is Luka Dončić.
Absolutely.
And it is not that he wasn't there when he was in Dallas, but it really is because he's in the Lakers. in the Laker
Showtime.
uniform. And so shout out to 77
Yeah.
on doing exactly what we knew he would do.
Yep.
Is become the most popular player in the game when it comes to jersey sales and when it comes to merchandise and all those things.
That was a great move for the Lakers.
For the league. For the league.
For the Lakers.
For the league.
Yeah.
For the league.
Yeah.
You got to understand, you're talking about a league now that's, rumors has it that we're possibly going to expand in Europe.
Yeah.
That we're taking this league and we're going international.
About 10 teams, right? I saw
About
that.
10 teams. So
Yeah.
here you go. Look who the faces of our league is.
Mm-hmm.
International players.
Yep.
And so it was a big move for the league that Luka Dončić, got gifted to the Lakers.
Yeah, that's huge.
And so I thought that was something to bring up because we did talk about on the
jersey
show.
sales.
We
Yeah,
talked
you
about the
called
jersey
that one.
sales.
Billionaire business.
Billionaire
That's
business.
billionaire business.
Well, watch
and,
him work.
and we talked about him having the swag
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
to wear that jersey. That's why I was like, yo, when you look at him, when he holding his fall through, he in your face.
Facts.
He holding it fall through like this.
And he
Looking
talking
in-
that talk.
Oh,
He looking in the stands. He's
So we got to talk about the game when he went back to Dallas.
Oh, my God.
My God.
Put on a show.
a clinic.
Did you miss me? I know. Let me give you 31 in the first half.
You miss me.
And I love the fact, the whole Dallas was hurt and stunned by this, not only Luka,
Yeah.
but for him to be that emotional and go out there and do what he did. But every time he checked in the game, every time they said his name, the crowd was just cheering top of their lungs. So it was good to see the love that, they still have for him, even though, I wouldn't have done it, but it is what it is. But he went out there and put torture to them boys.
Listen,
Straight
I'm talking
clinic.
about straight to it.
Clinic.
Clinic. I'm gonna give y'all a clinic. This first half was me and D Wright we were at the Masters. We had just got in, and we were supposed to head somewhere, and we were like, no, we got to watch the game.
Yeah, we gotta
at
see
least see this first half.
Straight clinic.
Straight cleanup on aisle 6.
Yeah. Yeah, he like that though, bro.
Yeah, he
he's
called.
like that. He
He
called.
called.
Bro.
He's cold.
I haven't seen it. It's very hard. And I went back to Miami and I was older, so I didn't have a lot to pull from. I was about 35, 36 when I went back for my game. But it's very hard, all the emotions. The night before, you're about to play back somewhere that you put your blood and your sweat and quote unquote tears. It's very hard to come down emotionally from that.
Yeah.
Right? To the point where when I was playing in Miami, I felt like I wasn't even really there. It was a body out there that had a Wade jersey on, but my feet went on the ground. I didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking and you see a lot of people when they go back, you don't see a lot of people have those moments where they actually shine like Luka just did.
Yeah.
Bro, when I saw him come out there and do that, I said, oh, this man is I have so much more respect for him because of his performance in that game.
Yeah.
Coming off the emotions that he showed before the game. Like sitting there, bro. Like I think Trae Young tweeted it out and said, that man really wasn't going to leave.
He wasn't going nowhere.
That man was there forever.
Yep.
Bro, but when you think about international players, we was talking about this about Giannis. When he got drafted here, that was his home.
Yeah.
That's where he put his feet down. That's where he began his journey. You look at how he represents for his country and playing in the Olympics all those years. He understands culture.
Yeah.
And he understands loyalty. So yeah, he's gonna be super emotional, but then he show you he on demon time, which is different. That show you the type of animal that he is. When it's like you go from being emotional to like, it's up.
Shit reminded me.
Right now, it's up.
It's up.
It's up. And I'm gonna show you it's up every time I see you.
Every time I see you, it's fighting words.
It's up.
I gave them boys 30 my first game back in Miami.
It was up.
It was up.
You
I
need
was
a
on
little
their
bit.
ass.
30
ball.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You did. I remember that.
I was hooping.
Yeah, you was hooping.
You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah, I
up.
already know.
So
I
it
was
is
not hot
mine.
at all, neither. I was sitting like,
Why we let this young boy go?
Yeah.
I was trying to give y'all the blues.
bro, you was
boy.
shooting that motherfucking
Hell
ball too,
yeah.
boy.
Woo.
Without
I did
bending
some
your
sh-
knees.
I remember one play, sorry to go off topic.
No, you ain't
I
off.
gave CB, came down transit. I was already hot.
Pump fake.
Jab. The motherfucker almost took touched the earth. Came Joel Anthony, high left runner off the glass. I seen the whole bench like, I'm like, yeah, you see it. Yeah. Y'all picked the wrong one. You see it.
Yo, now you picked the wrong one.
Yeah.
It was personal.
It was personal. Like
Yeah,
a
you did.
motherfucker.
Hey, you
That's
did
what
come back.
that's
Tell
what I
us
seen
up.
when I watched Luka. I was like, up. It's up. Every time you see them,
said, yeah, you see it.
The whole bench was over there like, ooh. And I can see
Pull the
Kay
clip.
like, yeah.
Oh man, some of this is a topic right now, and you know, obviously this is evergreen, and so we just had 6 women going to space.
Crazy.
And it doesn't matter how many times someone goes up to space. It's crazy.
right.
To us, it just feels like we've never been up there, right?
Yeah.
And so I just started, you know, obviously the first person I got an opportunity to see Gayle King at Vanity Fair during Oscar week. Got a chance to see her Vanity Fair party, and she was talking about her going to space. That was the first time I heard it, and I'm sitting there looking at her like, wait, black people don't go into space.
Excuse me?
I'm like,
First of all,
wait.
this is too tight for me to be in this one position for that long.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not sitting there like that,
And
bro.
so I think it's called the Blue Origin. I want to get it wrong, but I think it's called the Blue Origin of 6 women. Obviously, Katy Perry was a part of that as well. Sánchez was a part of it as well. Just 6 women going up to space. But just getting a chance to read a little bit about and watch a little bit when they went up. I mean, you saw Gail's face.
Her face looked like my face. Going on roller coasters.
Gail looked like she was like someone was smiling because the cameras was there. Gail was focused. Like,
Focus.
hey, now, I got to come back.
I wonder,
breathe.
did they have to train?
I'm pretty sure that it was some type of training.
I'm pretty
right?
sure you ain't just waking up today and this your first time.
Yeah.
putting
For
on
sure.
equipment,
I'm just
taking like we don't know nothing. Like I would love for them to give us a breakdown of like
Oh, the documentary coming.
because we think how many breaths do you get?
Right.
Like what's going on?
what's
We don't
going
know.
on?
Yeah.
But just I read and I saw Gail talk about, you know, it wasn't a ride, it was a journey. She talked about the journey, not the ride up to space, the journey up to space. And how important that it is to show Black girls and Black boys. You know, that's one of the reasons why she decided to be one to go up there. It's important to show them that, you know, in a sense, you know, not her words exactly, but there's no limits on what you can do.
Right.
True that.
I went to space. Ain't no limits on what you can do, no matter where you come from, no matter what they say, no matter what they tell you. There's no limits on you. And so this, to me, was a metaphor for there's no limits.
Right.
I can even go to space. And so much credit to them.
Man.
But my heart was beating fast just thinking about them
Brave.
getting on that joint. I'm like,
Yeah,
woo.
they brave.
Yeah, because
man.
it's, bro, when you think about being on a spaceship, like I'm being in Houston, NASA's right there by my crib. So it's like League City, shout out Corey Smith, Corey from League City. My kids are born in the Bay Area. So like right there, not your Bay Area, but the Bay Area in Houston, right there is NASA. And so you go over and you get a chance to see the spacesuits. The spacesuit, when you look at it, bro, is like straight out the movies.
Man.
The helmet piece
Well, it has
back
to be
in the
heavy.
day,
Heck
it
yeah.
looks super heavy. The shoes look super heavy. And then when I seen them, they didn't have on all of that. So technology has allowed for them to be able to get that experience with not having to go through what most astronauts go through. Technology has allowed for that to happen.
Yeah, man. Salute to the brave women.
Salute to the brave six.
Yes.
Man, of going up there. Shout out to our women. You know, once again, they continue to keep showing, you know, how superior they are in other areas than us men. Because
I ain't going.
Y'all better
I would have been holding everybody back. Waving like a roller coaster. Like, y'all have fun.
Y'all have fun.
Last topic that we have to talk about today is, you know, the season has just ended, and the front runner, what we feel is what we personally feel from the eye test and all the things is the front runner is SCGA.
Right. Yes, no doubt.
And so D-Wright, we were talking about SGA before. We were talking about he finished the season being the leading scorer. I think you said 32.7.
32.7.
That's a lot of buckets.
That's a whole lot of buckitos, man.
That's a lot of buckets.
But my thing is, it's been amazing to watch him and just continue to grow and grow every single year and get his game off. Mid-range not dead, because we see some of the best players in the league still taking those twos, you know, the first available shot. So I had a question for you, because you've done this. You've been the scoring champ. What was it, 30 points a game you average?
30.2.
30.2. How is it on a night in and night out to be the main guy to score all the points every single night and, you know, stay at 30 points a game? Because I know it's difficult when you're the main guy on the scouting report. So how difficult was that for you throughout that season? Was that the 08 season?
Yeah, 08 after the Olympics.
Yeah, after the Olympics. How difficult was that for you to stay on top of your game throughout a whole season and be the number one guy?
Yeah, well, we started off talking about guys playing 82 games.
Yeah.
So to do that, you got to play at least 75 games.
For sure.
Right? Like you got to play a certain amount of games within a season just to even be able to walk away with the leading scorer. They ain't giving it to you. You be playing like 60 games.
No.
So there's a certain level of games you have to play. And I think that year for me, I might have played 77 games. Like that was the most I played in my career, was 77 games a few times, maybe twice. And so just being healthy, being available is something that's very important to get to that space. But even for me going through that year, yes, I'm number 1 and number 2 on the call sheet, right? And so I have to continue to reinvent myself throughout the season. What was working in the beginning of the year ain't working in the midseason. Was working in midseason ain't working towards the end of the year. And so if you go back and look, my bag was full. I had to add different elements to my bag. Okay, they playing me this way. Now I got to add this catch and shoot element. They playing me this way. Now I got to take it out to the 3. Like my bag was just full. And so to be able to average 32.7 night in on a night out basis, that means you had some 40, 50 point games.
For sure.
You know what I mean? That means you had some 20 point games. But to be able to average that 30, you know, you have to be as consistent as for one season as you ever been to be the leading scorer of a season. You know, especially when that's not all you're doing. Like SGA is not just scoring.
No.
He's actually dishing the ball. He's playing defense. He's doing all the things to help this team be number one. But in the midst of it, he is the guy that has the ball in his hand to go get those buckets, and he's doing it night in and night out. And so for me, I just had to find my ways to make sure that we're trying to win, but I got to make sure that, okay, I know they know in the fourth quarter I'm getting the ball. So not only am I the lead scorer, I'm also one of the top scorers in the fourth quarter. How am I going to do that when they know, all right, D-Wade's getting the ball at the top of the key? So you got to keep finding ways to score. So I'm going to score on you on the post. I'm going to get to the line. I'm going to shot fake. I'm just going to find all these different creative ways to keep putting pressure on you until I see you give.
Right.
And that's on a night in and night out basis. I got to watch you give so I can get to my space of leading the league in scoring. And so it wasn't nothing that I ever set out to do. But once I got to that place where I was about 28, 29 a game, and it was like me, Brian, and Cole, and I was like, all right, well, shit. Coach, I'm going to need a couple more touches.
Yeah, let me separate myself.
Let me separate. I might have forced a couple more shots, per game. But it was something that I did want once I knew that I had a chance to get it.
Yeah.
I think it was me and Brian at the end, 1 and 2, going back and forth, like down the stretch of who was going to get it. Now he ended up getting the MVP, and I ended up getting the scoring champ. So that's what I got.
How difficult is it to be the scoring champ and still have the winning team? Because a lot of times you see the scoring champ on a losing team. Not even in the playoffs. They lead the league in scoring.
Yeah.
But they're done.
I might have been out first round.
Yeah, we lost to Atlanta that year. Because I think that's when everybody got hurt? No.
Yeah,
we lost to Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's what we played.
Okay, season
first round Atlanta.
First round Atlanta.
So season number 1.
Yeah.
And he led the league in scoring.
Crazy.
So it tells you about what kind of team player he is and what he's building in the locker room with his teammates.
Yeah.
Because when you watch him on interviews, you watch him, anytime the camera's on, they all show up together.
Yeah.
He's creating a culture,
Yep.
and we'd always talk about culture, but OKC head coach was the head coach in the G League, and he's been in that culture for almost a decade. And so they've given him an opportunity to really coach those kids and to develop them. And so with that, there's a lot of, confidence and comfortability
that you have to give.
That you have to get
I'm
a
glad
player
you brought that up.
to be able to do
You was
that.
on the team when I did that, right? When I was 30.
Mhm.
And I think I was also averaged 7.5 assists as well. I mean, we're talking about a slower paced game. We're not talking about a fast game. We're talking about
Right.
walk it up, get to your sets. And I was 30, and I think I averaged 7.5 assists as well. But to have the success to score 30 a night, if you ain't knocking down shots, if UD ain't setting these screens and knocking down shots, if these guys, if you ain't setting a screen, Joel, you ain't rolling to the basket immediately. If you ain't catching this ball, I'm not getting 30 a night because the defense is never leaving me. And so, to your point, what he looks like from afar is when you see all his teammates come into that video, you can see that he takes care of them as well.
Yep,
And so my job, I was the leading scorer of the league, but my job was also to take care of my guys, because the only way I'm getting through that gap if you making that shot. Because if you're not making that shot, you're not gonna be in the game. But also, your defender gonna be right here in my lap. And so now my 30 gonna come, but I'm gonna be 28% from the field because I'm forcing shots up every night.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that's so important. You got to have guys that make shots. And I tell kids all the time, when they complain about being open and a guy missed them, it's like, if you're not making that shot at a high level, why would I throw you the ball? That means I'm working on my game more than you. And I prefer myself taking a shot with two people on me.
KYP.
I got a better chance.
I got a better chance.
Yeah, well, I'm watching you in practice. I'm watching your work.
Yeah, I watch you before and after practice.
I watch what you do versus what I do.
Exactly.
I trust Kobe was very famous with that.
For sure.
I trust myself.
I believe in that
100%.
from a developer standpoint, because you know the guys that putting in the work. So when you put in the work, it come down now to KYP. Know your personnel, know who's in that position, and then know the situation to build them, but then know the situation to close. It's a difference of reading the situation. That's a situational judgment. Like, I could take a tougher shot here because I got the reps in versus you, and then it may be early in the game to where I'm getting you going a little bit. So when you watch a guy like SGA, he plays point, he plays off the ball, he plays everywhere. So when he's going, I've seen him pitch the ball ahead and trail in and then catch a one-on-one quick slot. I've seen him come off, boom, and hit the big guy, then come back and get it and pitch ahead and then the shot clock down and still get them a play and get to the free throw line. So he's super crafty, but what people probably are underestimating with him is his basketball IQ. I want to know how much film he's watching, because I know he's really good at drawing the fouls to get to the free throw line. But he's 6'6", soft touch. People say he's not a great three-point shooter, but he's knocking them down.
Yeah.
He don't have many weaknesses. As an
physical.
offensive player in the West.
He's physical. I mean, I think one of his biggest strengths is his patience.
Yep.
He has so much patience to get to his move. Like, you don't rush him up. And once he make one move, if he ain't done with you, he ain't done with you.
Yep.
He gonna give you that next move and that next move. And so a lot of that comes with patience, even pitching the ball up. Like, you got some guys, when they get the ball, they just got to go. Like, hey, I just got to get it. No, let me pitch this ball up, because what this does is this shifts the defense.
Yep.
This takes my defender eyes off me for a minute. This takes your defender eyes on you, and they're not just looking at me. So when you give me that ball back, now your defender is taking a break, and my defender ain't set. So, and so IQ that's just shifting the defense, right? When you pitch the ball up the court. And so he has patience, and he doesn't just go for 32 a night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's surgical.
And he got a good running mate, too. Jalen's done a good job, bro.
Man, boy, nice.
Super nice. And I think he had a stretch where he had his first 40 ball. I don't remember the game, but he had a 40 ball. The next night, SGA had 40, 45. I guess he was in there like telling, they looking at each other in the interview, because they sitting, they looking at each other like, yeah, well, what was that like? You seen that? And they both looking at each other like, and he just like, they know.
Yeah.
And he just didn't say, and I'm like, he cold, but they working together.
Yeah.
And so it goes back to, like, you can't be great unless other people help you become great.
Man.
You need great, in basketball, you need somebody setting screens. You need somebody cheering for you. When SGA miss a shot, watch the bench. man, they cheering him on, they encouraging him. And so I'm looking at success, and it's not just this year. It was last year, the year before. So he's shown that he's going to be here.
Yeah.
Man, he's consistent.
Sam Presti's one of the best execs, too.
Yeah.
A lot of people was clowning and laughing when he was taking all those draft picks.
Yeah.
He one of the best. I was this close from signing with OKC until they told me how much money they had for me. And I was like, I'm going to go to Portland.
Yeah.
And I messed up a chance to play with Katy and Russ, but, my time in Portland was amazing. They brought me down to OKC, and they made it feel like I was on a college visit. They flew me and the whole fam down. And I was like, damn, I'm telling my wife, like, yo, this is like college. Like, everything they're doing. They're laying out the red carpet, showing me and telling us how they can make me a better basketball player and this and that. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. So if they're showing guys this, at a younger age, they feel like that same type of college atmosphere. So
they've been building though, bro. They had to run in against you guys in the finals with that group. Mm-hmm. And then you could see how consistent their front office and everything has been. And even when I'm talking about the coach has been consistent. And that, when I started looking at the ingredients of a champion, I'm starting to think about all the things that he's talking about and you're talking about with culture.
Yeah.
Rolling out the record, treating each other a certain way. And then you look at the team, number one. Last year they was number one too, right?
I don't remember what they were.
I think they were number one in the West last year.
Yeah, they was up
Probably,
there.
It was up there.
I mean, I think going back to one of the players who I think has not, at this point, won a championship, and it doesn't define his career for me, but when he went to OKC, he said the culture, they was kind of starting over in a sense, right? When they made all the trades and CP got traded. CP went to OKC.
Yeah, but that was SGA.
It was when SGA was, but SGA was a young fella.
He was first year.
CP was the calming, the veteran guy who got everything in order.
And had them boy playing like dogs
before he went
to
Phoenix and took that and helped that team go to the finals, he saved OKC in the midst of them starting over again.
Yeah.
And he left something behind that now we're seeing SGA and them now pick on. You take on from what your vets leave. And so I know SGA picked up a lot from Chris Paul. So you're talking about a guy who will walk away from the game and you would say, oh, he didn't win a championship, so that means his career is a bust because he didn't win. Because let's talk about what he did at every stop.
Impact.
His impact. And those organizations, when he was there, he kept all of them holding the float. If Wemby don't go down and Pop ain't out this year, same thing was gonna happen in San Antonio from a standpoint of culture.
For sure.
Of having somebody who has a championship mindset that can leave that on the players. He's done that everywhere he's been.
Everywhere you go.
And so shout out to CP for what he did at OKC in the midst of them kind of starting over. And that's why we haven't seen OKC really drop that far.
They was in the playoffs that year, bro. They
went to the bubble.
They went to the bubble and they were playing with 3 small guards.
Yeah, hooping.
And people was like, oh, you can't have all these guards on the floor. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Especially when they work hard together and they can defend. CP, we always talk about his defense. He's scrappy.
Yeah. He's scrappy.
So, I'm looking forward to the playoffs.
Yeah, man. Shout out to SGA. So, man, something that we've started implementing on our show is, normally our guest is in here and try to give them a moment to have the last word.
Right.
And so we've never done it with our host. And so Bob had to leave us today to go be a father. His son came in and got him. But, I would love for you, Chris, and you, D. Wright, to both look at the camera and give your last words. And those last words is to the next Chris Johnson out there. Yeah. When someone is on the same path that you were on and that you are still on.
Yeah.
Give us some last words.
The most important thing that I can get you guys to understand is to keep showing up every day. Win the day. I know we always make plans. We're all planners. We try to forecast 5 years, 3 years, 2 years. But one thing that I've started doing is I just focus on today. And I let tomorrow take care of itself, and I let the past be the past. And so for me, it's very important to be where your feet are and to be in the moment and to really be able to live in your own skin today. And when you're winning, every second, every minute, every hour, it counts. So make sure you're spending time with the people that you really want to be around. Make sure you put in your efforts and what you want to, because we don't have a lot of time. Just win today.
Love that, bro. Love that. D. Wright, last words.
Yes, sir. Mine's going to go to the late bloomers out there. Keep grinding. TMC, the marathon continues. Keep your head down, keep developing, keep striving for greatness. Don't let the rankings, don't let the people with the better jobs, the better opportunities, stop you from your growth, because your time is going to come. If you're doing your thing and you're the best at what you do, they're going to find you. Do your stuff, run your marathon, run your race, be laser focused, and guarantee the sky is the limit.
That's dope.
D. Wright, Chris, and I'm D. Wade. Thanks for taking the time out with us.
I'm out.